by the beautiful blue blistering pinnacles of lapis lazuli, the African black cock. And this is our African proverb of the day. Now, anytime you hear an African proverb, please take it easy, Tamchuku, and listen with rapt attention. Our African proverb today is from the Gambia. It says, and I quote, "The same chair that one sits on to receive handshakes, another sits on and is greeted with slaps." The same chair that one man sits on and receives handshakes, another sits on and he receives slaps. Akonya baako tena so a ɔgye na baako so etena so a ɔno deɛ so asumbo nko na ɔgye. My brother, my sister, this is deep, very deep. We all must know our limits in life. We must all know where we stand and what our journey is. We must understand what is ours and what is not ours. Don't arrogate to yourself power and authority that do not belong to you. Let me tell you an interesting story. I was in Israel the other day, and I went over, my brother, my sister, to the birthplace of Jesus Christ in Nazareth. I had gone to the Aqsa Mosque, and gone to all the other wonderful places, River Jordan, gone to the city of David. I went all the way to the Wailing Wall, and the pictures are awash the internet, my brother. So I decided to go to Nazareth. I went to the birthplace of Jesus Christ, and I was shown the cave. Whilst tourists were queuing to go there, surprisingly, they announced that the rest of the tourists who couldn't get in there must go and come the following day because it was late. A priest walked up to me. He saw the turban on my head. He saw the beard and was directed like the star, directed the three wise men to see Jesus. To me, he singled me out of the crowd and he said, "Come on." And I went in there. My brother, whilst we're waiting to be ushered into the cave one after the other, that day I was humbled. I got a little tired, and then I saw a chair in the corner. And I was wondering why nobody was sitting on that chair. And I got a chair. About 6 high priests started speaking some language to me, which I want to believe was Hebrew. In fact, they were almost coming to cut off my head. And those of you who want to see this, when you go on the internet and check Black Rasta in Israel, you will see me sitting on the chair. In fact, I didn't know that this was the chair of the high priest. The weather was cold. I was wearing my tracksuits, sitting on that chair. I remember clearly. It was the chair of the high priest. Nobody was supposed to sit on that chair. And the high priest himself sat on it only once a week. And me, Black Rasta, I went and sat on that chair and even crossed my legs. Aye! My brother, I was lucky they don't eat chichinga in Israel. They would have made chichinga out of my body. Hey! Now, when the high priest sits on this chair, he receives handshakes. But when I sat on it, my brother, know your limits. Today, because my boss likes me, I can't just get up and go to my boss's office because she came out there and she is trying to talk to some people. I go and sit on her chair and cross my legs, and then I ask to be served with the same tea that my boss drinks. My brother, think about it deeply. The fact that I'm President Mohammed's best friend does not mean that I am the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. True? Do the soldiers have to listen to me? In what capacity? My brother, think about this carefully. Know where to raise your shoulders and know where to lower your gaze. It is wisdom to know this. There are some places I go and everybody shouts, yeah, Black Rasta, yeah, Black Rasta. Hey. There are other places I go to. Nobody knows me. So I lower my gaze and I hold everybody's hand in submission and subservience. Think about it, my brother. Some years back, I toured with a Ghanaian artist whose name I will not disclose. In Ghana, this artist comes up and everyone is shouting his name. We traveled to Holland, where at the time, in fact, I was almost the biggest thing from Ghana. Everybody came up to me, and he understood it. When we arrived in Holland, every interview he granted, he gave me honor. And he would always follow me, humble himself, and I would introduce him to some of the big guys there. Then we moved to Holland, went to another country, and he was big there too. You know what I did? I reciprocated it. On our way back to Ghana after the tour, on the plane, he told me, hey, Black Rasta, you are a very wise man. I asked him, oh, why? Then he reminded me that when we went to Denmark, some country like that, the way I was following him quietly, as if I was his bodyguard, he was so humbled, knowing very well that we had just left a country where everyone was all over me. My brother, my sister, we must all remember this. There are places where you are hailed, and there are places where you will be stoned. Remember what to do with yourself. At places where you envisage you'll be stoned, what do? Avoid those places. Where you be hailed, go there. Today's proverb is so deep, my brother. You can't be a king everywhere. You see, obi dishe no, eye obi akwa. I listen to high life songs and I hear that. Obi dishe eye obi akwa. Look at the prodigal son. Hey, he was a king in his father's house. But when he left after blowing away his fortune, he became a slave in another country. My brother, think about it deeply. Know where to say what. And once you know this, you would never be disappointed in life. Think about it deeply. There were two Jamaican artists that I spoke with. Maybe I should mention their names. In fact, I spoke with Luciano. And then I spoke with John Lennon. Do we all remember John Lennon, that big artist? John Lennon is not a Jamaican. Luciano is. They were coming to Ghana a certain year, and the organizers involved me in the organization. And I told them, you know what? Let Luciano close the show. He is bigger in Ghana. Even though John Lennon, I beg your pardon, is a bigger artist worldwide. If you take John Lennon to America, Luciano might not even open a show for him. If you take him to a country like Canada, Luciano might just be the opening act for him, even in Jamaica. But in Ghana here, I am telling you as a connoisseur of the game, let Luciano close the show and let John Lennon play in the middle. The organizers thought it was hogwash. But after some time, at the show, anytime Luciano's name was mentioned, there was an uproar. I remember the show was held at the Independence Square, and I was there in the crowd. Can I tell you something? The organizers decided to change their minds all of a sudden. Say, what Black Rasta said is true. Let John Lennon not close the show. I told them, I didn't want to be disrespectful to any artist, but I just told them what it was. They switched. And John Lennon, wise like he is, said, oh, okay, I accept it. Yeah, man, it's the turf. I accept it. Thank you. I will do it. He came with 2 sets of drums on stage, 2 sets of pianos on stage, big, grand pianos. My brother, when John Lennon came on stage, excuse my language, the place was almost empty. People went around looking for ntampe to buy. Some went around to sit and kiss their girlfriends, reserve the energy, and come and dance later. Some were just simply sitting on the floor while John Lennon was playing and playing. Hey! When he was done, and Luciano was going to be called to come on stage, even cockroaches and lizards that were hiding in holes all came out. People who were kissing disengaged. People who probably were having quickies quickly ended the quickies. Yes. And rushed there. When Luciano was announced, bam! It was like they had dug out corpses from graves to fill up the place. The moment Luciano came out, that was the first time he was coming to Ghana. You know what the organizers did? They shook my hand and said, Black Rasta, you are a genius. No, I'm not a genius. I just understand the TEF principle. TEF, T-U-R-F. At some places, the king becomes a slave. At other places, the slave becomes the king. Think about it deeply. If you understand this and put away your ego, you would never, ever be disappointed. This is the African proverb of the day.